Ladies and gentlemen, let's Gaming to the video. We have confirmation that the Radeon 300 series will be released soon. How soon? Well, most likely in June. Indeed, Dr. Lisa Su, who is AMD's CEO, actually has spoken out and said that the product launch will happen at a big event within the next few weeks. Now, while that doesn't exactly give you a date and a time, there's not many big events which are happening over the next few weeks, and the most likely one is E3 PC gaming event. There's also possibly Computex, but the most likely course of events right now is mid-June. This does coincide with rumours from a few days ago that the OEMs will be releasing PCs with R9 380 option, which is going to be in June as well. This is an article, and I'd highly suggest you check it out because there are some links and also a hell of a lot of slides. Now, the problem is I'm recording this while the actual conference that AMD are putting on is actually live, and I'm actually keep pausing the recording and checking because I'm actually updating the article as I'm going. But we have a whole bunch of information right now. Now, it's been 110 million% confirmed that the GPU will feature high bandwidth memory. It's confirmed in slides. And not only that, it's going to feature virtual reality enablement. We'll get into that in just a moment. Now, the real big deal, perhaps for a lot of people, is the cards is going to run with less power consumption and it's going to be considerably smaller. It's been confirmed that the GPU is going to require a smaller PCB because of the absence of GDDR5 chips. Obviously, it's going to be using a 2.5D die, which we'll get into in just a moment, and instead basically they can just chop away some of the PCB, not literally chop it, but you get my point. And this means that the cooling solution is going to have to be a little bit less rigorous, plus they're going to require less energies to run the damn thing. In fact, it's going to be 3 times the performance per watt compared to GDDR5, and they reckon it's going to be about 50% power saving versus GDDR5 when they're utilizing HBM. So I have gone into this a couple of times over, and I am going to try not to go super technical into this video because it's already getting kind of lengthy. But effectively, the GPU obviously sits right next to a stack of high bandwidth memory. They're literally nuzzled up to each other like lovers, and this with in conjunction with AMD supposedly working with SK Hynix to bypass the HB1 specification limit of 4 GB. They're doing this by using a dual link design. The GPU is going to be the first of its kind in the main market. It's going to be utilizing high bandwidth memory, and it's going to be connected to the GPU with an interposer. Basically, the GPU is right next to the high bandwidth memory, and the interposer, you can just think of it as like a stack of wires, and these wires, there's hundreds of them, each of them going to the GPU and linking to the HBM, and it's going to provide many bandwidth. It's going to be a 1024-bit interface, and there's going to be 128 GB per pin. So we're looking at insane bandwidth. The figure that I'm hearing is 640 GB per second, but AMD, at least in the slides that I'm looking at this second, have not confirmed this. AMD are also touting the Radeon 300 is being built for DirectX 12. It's also going to be pushing virtual reality with the Liquid VR, and it's going to be aimed at 4K displays. We're not looking at 1080p. Oh, no. 1080p is going to be like if you want to downsample from 4K to 1080p. 1080p is kind of like a little wasted if you've got a 1080p display with this card. Obviously, I suppose you go 1440p if you've got like large amounts of screens, but generally this is a 4K or virtual reality system, and AMD are eventually going to push this memory to APUs, and we've discussed this a couple of times previously. I do want to touch on Fiji's successor. That's right, AMD are actually talking about the Radeon 300 series. They've not released all of the information, and they won't do for a while, but Mark Papermaster has revealed that the Fiji successor will be more energy efficient than even the Fiji, the 300 series. In fact, the Greenland, which is Fiji's direct successor. It's part of Arctic Island. Arctic Island is going to be the 400 series. Is going to be twice as power efficient. More information I would like, but they're not giving it at the moment, which is a bit of a shame, if I'm honest. There is also some information regarding ZEN. So ZEN, just to get you up to date, is x86. It's AMD's next CPU. And there's good news, because all of the rumours that I've been covering apparently are pretty damn accurate. It's going to be a totally new high-performance core design. This is not going to be like, you know, Bulldozer the second. This is going to be a new performance design. It's going to have simultaneous multi-threading SMT. It's going to be focused on high throughput, new high bandwidth, low latency cache system. And it's going to be available in 2016. Yay! AMD are touting this as going to be, how can I say it? They're basically saying that, yeah, we've not been super competitive in this. We know that. Sorry, guys, we're going into it now and we're going to kick butt. I'm really hoping they do, because quite frankly, Intel need a bit of butt kicking. I don't mean that in a fanish way. Well, yeah, I kind of am a fan of both companies. I've owned literally equal amounts of CPUs from AMD and literally equal amounts of CPUs from Intel. I might have actually owned one or two more Intel CPUs, actually, thinking about it. But, you know, I've owned everything from a K62, whatever the hell it was, I think it's 366. I've owned a Pentium 4, I've owned a Celeron, I've owned Athlon, several Athlons, Athlon 64, a Barton, which is, I believe, a 2600 or 2800, I think a 2600. I've owned God knows what else. I've owned, you know, a couple of the i ranges, an i5 2500K, an i7 4770K. I've got an FX as well. I've got a bunch of stuff, is basically what I'm trying to say. And the problem is AMD have not been as competitive as I would like, and I really think that Intel have not really been pushing the CPU side. I've said this a billion times, so I don't want to get too much into it. The other benefit with this new processor is it will of course be DDR4. I don't really need to tell you that, but it will also be following up with another rumour. It will be utilising AM4, and AM4 will be cross-compatible with APUs as well. Are you excited? Because I am bloody excited. Not just because AMD are releasing cool technology, but because I hope it's going to push their competitors to release really cool technology as well. I don't like it when I feel that companies are kind of sandbagging, and I really feel that Intel and Nvidia to a degree have done that. I mean, I'm not saying Maxwell, just picking on Maxwell for a second. I've picked on Intel with Haswell, even though I own the damn thing. But let's pick on Maxwell. It's like, you know, it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's a bad GPU or anything like that. It's good. It's power efficient. But yeah, it's like I own a 780 Ti at the moment as one of my GPUs. I own a couple of GPUs, including a Radeon R9 290X. I've got a GTX 760. I've got tons of stuff. Mostly for reviews or what have you, but at the moment my main desktop GPU, just on average, because it's got shadow play, so it just makes, you know, game capture. If I need to grab a screenshot or something, I just kind of like shadow play just for the ease of things, to be totally blunt. And I don't really see a need for me to go out and buy a Maxwell at the moment, like a 980, because I don't think it's fast enough over a 980 over the 780 Ti, and I don't really want to spend the extra on just 1 GB of extra memory as well. That's another thing that's kind of putting me off. I'm really looking forward to like high display cards at the moment, so I'm like, and that's also putting me off buying a new monitor as well, because, you know, graphics cards, 4 gigs. Look at GTA. What I'm basically saying is I want, you know, the next generation of stuff, and supposedly HBM from AMD is going to offer up to 8 GB, but that's not been confirmed in these slides. Anyway, I am doing a lot of chatting and a lot of guesstimating here, but hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon, and as check the article out. There's probably going to be a bit more information by the time I've finished even exporting this, to be totally honest. But take care, bye for now.